Ask 100 women what they're looking for in a partner, and you'll almost always hear the exact same script. They'll tell you they want a man who is patient, caring, deeply empathetic, and always willing to listen. They'll say they want someone who puts her first, avoids unnecessary arguments, and makes her feel completely safe and cherished. On the surface, every single one of those qualities sounds completely reasonable, mature, and ideal. But this is precisely where millions of men fall into a massive hidden trap. Men take these words at absolute face value. They listen to what women say they want, and they make a silent blueprint out of it. They tell themselves that if being a good man means being caring and conflict free, then the ultimate goal must be absolute compliance. They start saying yes to every single demand, agreeing with opinions they don't actually hold, and biting their tongues whenever something bothers them. They tolerate bad behavior, forgive repeated disrespect, and make it their full-time mission to ensure the woman in their life is constantly happy, comfortable, and pleased with them. Then the inevitable happens, and these men end up completely blindsided. After months or years of bending over backward, being accommodating, and sacrificing their own desires to keep the peace, they notice a subtle shift. The dynamic completely changes. The very woman who claimed she wanted a gentle, self-sacrificing, nice guy starts pulling away. Her warmth fades, her enthusiasm disappears, and she slowly loses both physical attraction and basic respect for him. The man is left totally confused, hurt, and bitter, wondering how doing everything right somehow led to everything going completely wrong. The harsh truth is that most men completely misinterpret what women are actually communicating. When a woman describes her ideal man, she's describing how she wants to feel when she is with a man she already respects, not the formula to earn that respect in the first place. Kindness without boundaries looks like weakness, and constant agreement looks like a total lack of conviction. Today, we are stripping away the comforting lies and dismantling the 5 critical misunderstandings about female psychology that accidentally turn genuinely good men into men women can never truly respect. Let's get completely honest about the first major trap. Being a good man is fundamentally different from being an agreeable man. So many men mistakenly believe that keeping a woman happy means agreeing with everything she says, supporting every emotional impulse she has, and never pushing back. But human nature doesn't work that way. When intense emotions take over, anyone's judgment gets completely clouded. We've all seen a bad decision sitting right in front of us and still felt tempted to jump in anyway, just because our feelings were running the show. That is precisely why a woman does not need or want a man who acts like a human echo chamber, rubber stamping every single emotional mood swing she experiences. What she actually respects deep down is a man who can look her dead in the eye, remain completely calm, and say, "No, you're not doing that. It's a bad idea." When a man is terrified to disagree because he's scared of sparking an argument or upsetting her, he isn't displaying love or patience. He is broadcasting a total fear of losing her approval. Women pick up on that fear instantly. There is a world of difference between a controlling man and a grounded, confident man. A controlling man restricts a woman because he is insecure and wants power over her. A confident man sets firm boundaries because he has high standards and cares about the actual consequences of a bad decision, even if she hates hearing the truth in that exact moment. Paradoxically, one firm, respectful no builds exponentially more trust and genuine attraction than 100 scared, eager to please yeses. The second massive misunderstanding comes down to how men interpret the phrase, "I want a man who genuinely cares about me." Most men hear that sentence and immediately make it their full-time job to manage her feelings, fix every internal emotional crisis, and completely abandon their own inner peace just to smooth things over. They think that if she's having a breakdown, they need to panic right along with her to show empathy. But if she is spiraling out of control, The absolute last thing she needs is for you to join her in that spiral. She doesn't need you frantically begging her to calm down. And she certainly doesn't need you abandoning your own composure just to cushion her mood. True emotional strength and maturity sounds like a man who can stand firm in the middle of a storm and say, "When you are ready to talk about this respectfully, I'm here. Until then, take all the time you need." Constantly chasing someone every single time their mood shifts doesn't prove deep devotion. It exposes a complete lack of an internal anchor. It signals that your entire emotional baseline is held hostage by how another person feels on any given Tuesday. A woman feels truly safe with a man whose internal balance remains rock solid, even when her day is falling apart. When she realizes your peace isn't easily shaken, she stops viewing you as someone she has to emotionally manage and starts seeing you as a man she can actually rely on. Respect in any relationship completely collapses the exact moment a partner realizes that you will stick around no matter how poorly they treat you. A lot of men fall into the trap of thinking that staying through endless disrespect, boundary crossing, and poor behavior proves unshakable loyalty and unconditional love. But that isn't how female psychology views it. When you tolerate repeated disrespect, you aren't proving that you are a loyal, committed partner. You are proving that your standards are completely negotiable and that your deep seated fear of being alone is far bigger than your self respect. Having true walk away power is widely misunderstood because men often confuse it with being toxic, emotional, or manipulative. Walking away has nothing to do with throwing explosive tantrums, making fake threats to leave during an argument, giving her the cold shoulder, or playing cheap mind games to get a reaction. That isn't strength. That is pure insecurity. Real walkaway power is the calm, quiet, and completely composure filled realization of your own intrinsic value. It means knowing that while you deeply value the relationship, you value your own dignity even more. A man's commitment only carries real magnetic weight when staying with a woman is an active daily choice, not a desperate survival tactic born out of having zero other options in life. Developing an abundant mindset where your life is already packed with ambition, meaningful goals, solid friendships, and unshakable self respect ensures that you will never cling to a relationship at the tragic cost of your own identity. This directly ties into another critical mistake men make, completely confusing the act of setting a boundary with the courage to actually enforce it. Setting a boundary is entirely meaningless if you lack the backbone and conviction to back it up with real action. You can tell a woman, "I don't tolerate disrespect," 1,000 times until you are blue in the face. But if she repeatedly crosses that line and absolutely nothing in your behavior changes, your words instantly turn into empty noise. Respect doesn't suddenly evaporate overnight in one dramatic moment. It quietly bleeds out, one ignored boundary at a time. Every single time you let disrespect slide just to keep the peace, you are actively teaching her that your rules are fake and that your words carry zero real world consequences. Enforcing your personal standards isn't about power struggles, punishing your partner, or trying to dominate them. It is strictly about absolute, unflinching consistency. When your daily actions seamlessly mirror your stated principles without you ever needing to raise your voice, get angry, or become wildly defensive, you communicate something immensely powerful: that your self respect is non negotiable. At the end of the day, people will never respect what you verbally preach, they will only respect what you actively tolerate. When a man handles his boundaries with quiet, resolute consistency, he instantly commands a level of genuine respect that loud words and idle threats could never achieve. The single fastest way to destroy attraction in a relationship is to fall into the ultimate trap, turning your partner into the absolute center of your universe. So many men mistakenly believe that total self sacrifice is the ultimate expression of true love. They think that if they drop everything, abandon their personal hobbies, isolate themselves from their closest friends, and put their lifelong ambitions on the back burner, it proves how deeply committed they are. But in reality, When you burn down your own world just to revolve entirely around hers, you completely erase the very traits, passion, and independent energy that made you compelling and attractive to her in the first place. A genuinely healthy relationship is never built on one person losing their identity to serve the other. It requires two complete, fully developed individuals coming together to share their separate, fulfilling lives, not one man abandoning his trajectory to live vicariously through hers. The moment a woman realizes that your entire happiness, emotional stability, and daily sense of purpose depend entirely on her, the dynamic suffocates. She goes from feeling like a partner sharing an exciting journey with you to feeling burdened by the overwhelming weight of being your sole reason for existence. A woman wants to be an extraordinary, cherished part of your world, but she never wants to carry the exhausting responsibility of being your world. That is why you must never confuse quiet strength with cruelty, or genuine goodness with passive weakness. Being a high value, respected man does not mean you have to turn into someone who is cold, heartless, arrogant, or emotionally unavailable. You can remain exceptionally kind, deeply generous, and fiercely loving while holding firm to your backbone, your overarching purpose, and your unwavering self respect. True goodness is having the capacity to be loving and protective while possessing the undeniable strength to uphold your standards, enforce your boundaries, and walk away if you are dishonored. At the end of the day, female psychology isn't about mind games or tricks, it's about authenticity and self worth. When you stop equating total compliance with love and start building a life rooted in direction, emotional stability, and clear boundaries, everything shifts. You don't have to sacrifice your identity to earn a woman's love. Build your life, guard your peace, stand firm in your standards, and invite a partner to walk alongside a man who truly knows who he is and where he is going.